Hey guys, so today I'm on my floor and we're gonna do a book haul because I got a lot, okay? I got like over 50 books here on the floor, so we're just gonna jump right into it. But before I do, I want to mention that all of these books will be linked in the description box because there's a lot of them and I do not remember what most of these books are about. So you're gonna have to bear with me for any explanations I give or do not give. So I'm gonna start with all the YA since the most amount of books I have are probably YA. So yeah, the first one I see here is Vicious Spirits, which is the second book of the Wicked Fox series. And this is by Kat Cho. Now I haven't read the first one yet, but I got the second one because this paperback version came out and it was pretty cheap. It was like $14.99. So I was like, why not get it? I will likely like the first one, I hope. I don't know. So yeah, I got the second book. The first one, Wicked Fox, follows a young girl who feeds off the soul of men to survive. And she ends up falling or running into a human boy who was being attacked by a goblin, I believe. And so she decides to risk her life by saving him. And at the same time, she loses some sort of bead or something. And she needs help finding it, or she needs to find it. I'm not sure what else happens, but this is a fantasy romance, so I imagine like she's gonna fall in love with the human boy. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but it is based on a East Asian folklore. I just don't know what. One of my favorite YouTubers, Mel Reeds, loves it. She loves both books, and so I decided I wanted to give it a try. But yeah, I actually love the cover of this book so much. But yeah, I can't wait to read this one eventually, sometime, I don't know. Then the next series I have here, I have all the series, all the books of the series, and this is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This is by is it Lane Taylor or Lani Taylor? I don't know. I think it's Lani Taylor. This is the box set cover. I don't know. I think this is like a new cover. I absolutely love this. I can't remember what this is about, but it says on here at the back, once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love. It did not end well. So yeah, one of the reasons I have to pick this up, although I won't lie, at first I was kind of scared because I think it's not horror, but I believe it is filled with a lot of gore and probably some crazy shit will happen. This is the third book, which is pretty chunky compared to this one. But I really love the style and design of these books and I want to read this. This may be a book that I pick up for the fall. We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of fantasy I want to read this fall, so we'll see if this is a series I pick up. I really hope so though. Another book I have is Six Crimson Canes, and this is by Elizabeth Lim. I actually just got, this is like the most recent book that I have here that I have on this entire list. Like, anyways, this book follows, I believe, a young princess who is very powerful and she was supposed to get married. Somehow she ends up out of it, and because she displays her power or something, I believe she gets turned into a crane when she can't speak. And so I don't know how she's gonna break the spell, because if she does speak, I don't know if her family gets hurt or she gets killed. I don't know what it is, but it is a YA East Asian fantasy, and so it seems interesting. Have not read anything like this, and so I decided to pick it up. And plus I love the cover. The cover is gorgeous. So yeah, one of the reasons I picked it up was the cover. I saw I think it was the Fair Loot edition cover, and I love it so much. I have no way of getting it, so I'm just gonna look for the US cover. But this is absolutely gorgeous too, so yeah, no worries. So the next book I have here is Daughter of Sparta, and oh my gosh, this cover is so pretty. We have like a woman on the cover with a spear. Doesn't this look powerful? But I absolutely don't remember what this is about. This is Sparta forged her into a deadly weapon. Now the gods need her to save the world. Ooh. So this seems like it's going to be a badass feminine type Greek mythology YA book, and I'm down. I'm absolutely down. Count me in. I hope I get to read this sometime this year. If not, it's fine, but this is so gorgeous, and I likely might read this before the year ends. I have a feeling I will. So I don't know if it's a series or if it's a standalone. I kind of hope it's a standalone, because I have a lot of series that I have not been finishing. Like, I've been starting series, not finishing them. So another book I have here is The Last Namsara, and someone, I can't remember who, recommended this book to me on one of my reading sprints, and so I decided to give it a try. I actually got all of the books because I got it from a really cheap bookstore. I can't remember what's the name, and I paid like maybe $5 for this, $6 maybe. So yeah. I don't remember what this book is about. I believe it has dragons, maybe romance. It does it at the top: a forbidden love, a kingdom at war, a secret that will change everything. So I'm assuming there's dragons, forbidden love, a war. So yeah, I can't wait to read this eventually. I don't know when. I am kind of sad that the first book I have is in paperback and then the last two books are in hardcover, but I'm not that sad because I didn't really pay much for it. So yeah. Then a book that I'm excited to read that I will likely start ASAP is Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin, and this is the final book in the Servant and Dove series. I absolutely love this cover. It's gorgeous. Now, I liked the first two books of the series. I am not like in love with the series as a whole. I do love some of the characters, just not the main ones, and that's probably one of the reasons why I decided to like finish the series off, is because I really want to know what's gonna happen to Bo and Coco and Ansel and like all the side characters. The main characters, I'm kind of over them at this point, so but I want to finish off the series because I want to know what happens. I want to know how it ends. It's a solid 4-star series for me, but nothing that I'm absolutely in love with compared to, like, say, the ACOTAR series. So yeah, then another book I do have that I am excited to start is These Hollow Vows, and this is by Lexi Ryan, I believe. Now let me tell you how I almost got this book through the Bookish box, because this was their July book, but I didn't want to pay for the whole box because the fandom stuff is kind of iffy. So anyways, I got this book from my store, and this is supposed to give me a Court of Thorns and Roses vibes. I believe it says it's a Court of Thorns and Roses meet Cruel Prince, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know it's about the girl on the cover being stuck between two fae courts, I believe. So there's definitely like a love triangle going on in this. I don't know if it will last beyond this first book. So I don't know if it's like a love triangle that's for the first book and then moves on or not. Like, I don't know. But anything that's compared to A Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm like usually auto buy, because that's like one of my favorite all-time series. So I picked this up and I really, really hope I like this. I don't know if I'm going to read this anytime soon though, maybe closer to the end of the year. Just because it's the first in a series and I don't know how long the series is. So I really, 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 really hope I like this. And then another YA fantasy book I have is Girls of Paper and Fire, and this is by Natasha Nan. I hope I pronounced that right. It's N-G-N. I honestly do not remember what this is about at all. I do know it's about women who are being maltreated, I guess, or not. I'm not even 100% sure. And I'm looking at the back of the book and there's no synopsis on the back of this book at all. That's strange, but okay. So don't remember what this is about, but I did pick it up. It is the first of a duology, so that I do know for sure. I hope I like it so I can pick up the second book. I am very iffy about books when I buy. Sometimes I buy a full series of a book if I think I'm gonna like it, and then if I'm not sure, I only buy the first book. So if I like this second one, like if I like this first one, sorry, then I'll pick up the second one. And yeah, hopefully I get to this soon enough. Oh my gosh, I still have a whole ton more books to go through. So I have Rose Wielder by T.R. Perry, and this is actually a fantasy romance. this was recommended to me by the author, actually, Chiara Perry. This is her first book. I met her on Bookstagram, and I promised that I would read this and give her my review, so I have bought the physical book. It says at the back, Arabella Bicentaur is in for a real surprise. For some reason, her parents think she's ready to train to be a queen. At 16, she doesn't feel quite ready for this, and especially since her skin doesn't look much like everyone else's. Even though she loves her Promethea, how will the people trust her when she's brown like her mother? At least she has a dreamy August Frederick the... I don't know what is IX? I can't remember in Roman numerals what that is. As her partner for the apprenticeship. But even with all this, for some reason, she can't shake the feeling that there's something buried deep inside her, some power just waiting to come out. Join Arabella and her friends in self-discovery as she understands what it means to be both Promethean at heart and enjoy the depths of her Melindan heritage. So this is a fantasy. It is pretty short, so it really shouldn't take me too long to read this. It's less than 200 pages, so this should be quite interesting. I don't know what to expect, but I do kind of like the cover. It's like kind of pretty. But yeah, I do hope I like this and get to this soon enough. Then the next book I have here is a book I found on Instagram. It's not a very well-known book at all, and it says Made from That by Rebecca Gray. I got this on Amazon for sure, because I tried looking for it on like other websites, couldn't find it. This is a debut novel recently released, and it says, death came but didn't keep me, even the heavens didn't want this soul. Our four queens broke their bargain with the gods. For their misdeeds, nature remains unbalanced. To appease a restless country, the queens are looking to marry. Queen Sienna is first in line to choose a husband as she hosts the start of the highly anticipated royal parties. While they worry about their events and keeping the Fae at bay, I'm sneaking into their castles. I'm striking a deal with a warlock. I'm watching every move they make, because I've been resurrected with one job to complete. Kill the queens. This sounds so good, and so I was like, I need to get this. I hope it's good. I'm already not digging the font. It's like in Arial, if this will focus. I'm not really a huge fan of the font, but at least I like the size of it, so I hope I do like this. I don't know, but it sounds interesting. Then I have Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I'm picking this up because my favorite booktubers seem to love this book. Mel from Mel Reads, Jaleesa from Bonded by Bookmark. Both of them love this book, and it follows two guys, I believe, who are in maybe university or something, getting their PhD, and they try to discover, I don't know if they tried, I think they successfully discover how to get powers as human beings. This is a very morally great book, so they're not heroes of anything. They're anti-heroes in this, or villains, so this seems interesting. I hear it's fast-paced and very entertaining, so I can't wait to get to this eventually. I haven't heard great reviews about the second book, so I may just only read the first one. I don't know. If I read the second one, I don't think I'll purchase it with my own coins. I think I'll read it through the library first to determine if it's worth purchasing the second one, because the reviews are really disheartening. So yeah, the first book everyone seems to love, the second one not so much. And then I have a duology by Renee Adieh, and that's The Wrath and the Dawn. I've seen this book around for a little while, and I think it's definitely a fantasy, and I'm trying to remember what it's about. So I believe our main character, her friend got selected to be with the king, I believe, of this story, and her friend has disappeared, and it seems like every woman that is selected by the king just disappears, and I'm assumed dead. And so she gets called by the king or prince or whoever it is, and she is telling him a story to try and keep herself alive. I believe that's what this is about. I may be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I remember when I looked up the synopsis for this, I was like really excited. So it sounded interesting. So I have both copies, The Wrath and the Dawn, and then the second one, The Rose and the Dagger. I like the titles of these books, so hopefully I love them. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. We'll see. And then the next series that I bought the entire series of is Awaken by Elise Kova. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It seemed like an indie book, and this is a pretty short romance. Let me say romance, fantasy. I don't know if it's romance. It could be fantasy romance for all I know. I love the cover, first of all. It is young adult, and I'm not really 100% sure what it is about again, so I'm just going to read the synopsis. It says, the Solaris Empire is one conquest away from uniting the continent, and the rare elemental magic sleeping in 17-year-old library apprentice Valhalla Jarl could shift the tides of war. Okay, that's weird. I'm just going to go with the top. It says, a library apprentice, a sorcerer prince, and an unbreakable magic bond. So yeah, let's just go with that. But I did get all of the books in that series. So we do have Fire and Fallen, quite gorgeous cover. I love this cover the most, and this is Earth's End. I just love how powerful this book cover looks. And then we have Water's Wrath. It kind of gives me Avatar and the Airbender vibes. So it's like, I don't know, it just looks like that. And then the final book, Crystal Crowned. So yeah, I can't wait to read this series. It seems very beloved by all of the people who have read it, according to Goodreads. So yeah, I really hope it's a decent book. I think that's all the YA fantasy books I have. So we're just going to jump into like the contemporary. So I have Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. I'm pretty sure you know what this book is about. It's been heavily marketed, so I don't doubt. But if you don't know, I think this follows a young girl who has the ability to see the beginning and end of people's romance, like their love life. And so it has made her a cynic, and I think her divorced parents as well has also added to her cynicism for love and her belief in it. Anyway, she end up going to a dance class, and she meets a guy who, I don't know how he gets there as well, but they end up, I think, falling for each other. But she is trying to avoid falling for him because she doesn't believe in love based on what her power has shown her and what her life has taught her. People have cried in this book, not everyone, but I've heard about tears being shed, so I don't think I'll be picking this up anytime soon because I'm not trying to shed any more tears unless it's from a fantasy book and for something that's not really set in the real world. I'm just trying to avoid all that. Then the next book I have here is Tweet Cute. I plan to listen to this via audiobook, but I got this for really cheap as well. I think I paid like $5 for it, and so I just got the hardcover and said if I enjoy it, then I'll keep it. If not, then I'll likely donate it to like my local public library or something. But this follows two young teens, both who run the social media of their parents' restaurants, like Taco or something. I can't remember what it is, but they both run the social media for their parents' respective businesses. And I think one of them steals the recipe from the other parent, and so they're friends, they're enemies online, but become friends in real life. I can't remember exactly, but I think something along the lines of that. Am I that interested in it? Not really. I've seen great reviews for it, so I hope I do enjoy it, but I don't know if it's something I'm going to want to keep after I've read it. And then the next book I have is one book I actually have already read, and that is Xoxo by Axio, and this is a K-pop YA romance. I absolutely adored this. I gave it 4 stars, and I want to reread it again. One thing I want to highlight is the fact that the cover for like the dust jacket is the same on the book, like it goes right around, and I absolutely love that. But this has forbidden love and like great friendships and stuff, so I really enjoyed it. Like, if you're looking for a cute YA contemporary romance, which is based in Seoul, and our main character, you know, having to resist the charms of a K-pop group member, I'd say pick this up. Just pick it up. If you're into K-pop and you want a K-pop little romance, you might like this. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, I think that's all the YA books I have. Now we're gonna switch to fantasy romance for adult or new adult. So the first book I have here is Desperate Measures by Katie Roberts, and this is the first in her Wicked Villain series. It's pretty short. All of her books in the series are pretty short, and from all I've been told is her books have no plot, but her smut is pretty good. I don't care about the plot. I'm here for the smut. So I got Desperate Measures. I also have Queen Takes Rose. So this one is a Jafar and Jasmine retelling. Queen Takes Rose. I'm not sure what this one is about. Who does this one follow? It says Aurora and Malone. I'm not really sure what this one is about. And then I do have The Beast by Katie Roberts. And hopefully this one is the Beauty and the Beast one. Beauty and the Beast retelling. But essentially these are Disney villain romances. So instead of the female heroines or the female love interest being in love with our typical heroes, the females are falling in love with the villains of these retellings. So yeah, I can't wait to read these three. I have them for when I'm in a reading slump and I just want a book with, I don't want to say no substance, but like I'm just looking for some smut and nothing too serious or anything. So yeah, these are the three books I have by Katie Roberts that I hope I enjoy. That is fantasy romance. Then I do have A Touch of Ruin by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the second book in the Hades and Persephone retelling. I read A Touch of Ruin. I absolutely enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars, and so this is the second book that I want to continue. Since the second book, I won't say what this one is about because it kind of would spoil the end of the first one. So yeah, A Touch of Ruin follows Hades and Persephone, who end up in a bargain, and Persephone is tasked with creating life. At the same time, she is also trying to prevent herself from falling for Hades, which she's absolutely failing at, obviously. But as the goddess of spring, she needs to figure out what it is she wants with her life and like try to navigate that, because she has many obstacles, like her very helicopter mom, Demeter, who, you know, basically wants to keep her daughter hidden from the world and from all the gods and from like basically everything. And so we watch basically Persephone and Hades fall for each other, also while Persephone discovers more about herself that she didn't even realize was there. So yeah, I loved the first book and I want to continue the rest of the series. Then another book I have, I think this is a adult fantasy romance, is Radiance, and this is by Grace Draven. Don't know this one. I can't even remember what this is about, but it says behind here, the Prince of No Value. Brishan Kashkem, Prince of the Kai, has lived content as the non-essential spare heir to a throne secured many times over. A trade and political alliance between the human kingdom of Gaul and the Kai kingdom of Bas Hardis, I don't know, requires that he marry a gory woman to seal a treaty. Always a dutiful son, Brishan agrees to the marriage and discovers his bride is as ugly as he expected and more beautiful than he could have imagined. Wait, hold the frig up. He discovers his bride is as ugly as he expected and more beautiful than he could have imagined. What? The noblewoman of no importance. Idiko, or Ildiko, niece of the gory king, has always known her only worth to the royal family lay in a strategic marriage. Resigned to her fate, she's horrified to learn that her intended groom isn't just a foreign aristocrat, but the younger prince of a people neither familiar nor human. Bound to her new husband, Ildiko will leave behind all she's known to embrace a man shrouded in darkness, but with a soul forged by light. Two people brought together by the trappings of duty and politics will discover they are destined for each other, even as the powers of a hostile kingdom scheme to tear them apart. So this doesn't seem like a enemies to lovers, but maybe it seems like a hate to love, or a friend, I don't know, friendship to love. They both seem to despise each other, so from the synopsis, I would go with that. It's not a very long fantasy romance. It's less than 300 pages, and I think is it a duology? It may be a trilogy actually. So I hope I like this. I see a lot of great reviews on how unproblematic this book is. So this should be very refreshing for whenever I'm looking for that. Then the next series I have here is A Court of Thorns and Roses. And yes, I know what you're gonna say, Simone, don't you already own the series already? Yes, I do. But I wanted this cover because these books are absolutely gorgeous. And so it was on sale for like really cheap. I think the entire box set I got for like $45, $46. But this is the first book. And it's just so pretty. Like, how could I have not purchased the book, well, the box set, if it wasn't so pretty? Like the colors are just so bright and neon that I absolutely had to get it. And then the last one is the novella, which is pretty short. But it was too pretty for me to pass up on, so I got it. It's my all-time favorite series, so I have no regrets. The one good thing I keep telling myself is if I can get my friends interested in reading it, and I have spare copies to share with them. So yeah, we're just gonna go with that. Okay, I think that is all the fantasy romance that I have. So I'm gonna jump into the adult fantasy I do have. So the first book I have here is She Who Became the Sun, and this is by Shelley Parker Chan. This is a very recent release and I've seen great reviews. This follows a young girl who has been told that she will never amount to anything in life, and she steals her brother's identity. I don't think it's like a Mulan type of book, but somewhere along the lines where obviously she steals her brother's identity, she's gonna pass off as a boy and she's gonna prove everyone wrong about her future talent, I guess. It's a very powerful adult militant, I believe, fantasy. So I don't know when I'm gonna pick this up, but I am interested in reading this. I actually find myself these days very interested in a lot of the East Asian or Asian type folklore books that are coming out. There's so many being released and they all sound so good. So yeah, stay tuned for me like delving into a lot of Asian fantasy. May it be different types of Asian fantasy, but a lot of them I think I do own are now like military-esque book. I don't know, but they're pretty good from what I can tell. They're very beloved. Then the next book I have here, this is a very big book. And I blame Mel Reeves for making me want to purchase this book. But this is the second book in the Stormlight Archive series, and this is Words of Radiance. So I ordered this and the first book, The Way of Kings. I'm just gonna insert a clip of what that looks like. But this is a very thick series. I have not read any book by Brandon Sanderson yet. I plan to probably start with either Warbreaker or Mistborn, but Mel made this book sound so good that I had to pick up the series. I picked up the first two just because they were on sale and I got them cheaper. So I definitely got this in paperback because the hardcover was like $50 and I was like, oh hell no. Like, based on how thick this book is and how beloved this series is, I hope I do like it. And I love like how floppy the book is, and the pages are like, I don't know what it's made of. It's almost like Bible-esque type pages. But I really hope I love this series because yeah, it seems well loved. It's pretty thick, and I won't lie to you, I'm going through the motions of I'm just kind of getting tired of YA fantasy at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong, I like YA fantasy, but much of the stories I've been reading are very similar. So I feel like I'm in the mood for some adult fantasy, and so I will be picking up some Brandon Sanderson soon enough and other else type books similar to it, just because I need a break from what I'm normally reading. So the other book I do have is another adult fantasy, and it's The City of Brass. Now I've been going back and forth on wanting to read this book, but here we are, you know. It's a trilogy. Can't remember exactly what it's about. It seems very popular at the moment though. Many people are talking about it and are reading it or DNFing it. I hope I like it. I only got the first book because I don't know how I feel about this series, so I hope I do like it, and if I do, I'll pick up the rest of the series. And then another adult book I picked up is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, and this is hopefully a duology. The second book comes out in November, so I think it's November. I want to read this before the second book comes out, so if I do enjoy it, I can get the second book for Black Friday. I can't remember exactly what it's about, and I don't see a synopsis, so yeah, you're just gonna click the description box for this one. But I definitely know it's a fantasy, adult fantasy. Oh, there is a synopsis. I'm just blind. The Emperor's reign has lasted for decades. His mastery of bone shard powering the animal-like constructs that maintain law and order. But now his rule is failing, and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's many islands. When the Empire refuses to recognize his daughter as heir to the throne, she vows to prove her worth by mastering the forbidden art of bone shard magic. Yet such magic carries a deadly cost. So yeah, it did have the synopsis behind. I saw a blurb by Sarah J Maas behind, and I was like, wait, what the hell? And then I saw the synopsis underneath, but whatever. Oh wow, I still got more books to go, and I'm already at 30 minutes, so let's speed through the rest of this. So for romance, adult romance, I have All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. She's known for the Queen of Slow Burn, so I got the first book here, All Roads Lead Here. Oh my gosh, I just realized that's my last name. Well, damn. I hope I like this. But okay. Then I have The Wall of Winnipeg. And this is even thicker than the first book I just showed you, All Roads Lead Here. This is a sports romance, I believe, but very slow burn. And it's by the same author. This is very thick though. Oh child, this is 661 pages. Pretty heavy, pretty thick, very slow burn. So I hope I like it. And then this one is Come Back For Me by Corrine Michaels. I like the cover. Not sure what this is about. I think this guy had like a one-night stand with a woman many years ago, and so he vowed not to come back to the town I guess he's from until his father died, because his father was shit. And then now his father is dead. He has come back, and he runs into the woman that he had that one-night stand that he felt a very great connection to a great connection with, and so I guess this is their love story. So yeah. Then I also have Paris Is Always a Good Idea by Jen McClinley. I got this on sale, so can't remember what it's about, but hopefully it's something similar to the title. And I also got How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. This seems quite interesting. I can't wait to read this. Can't remember what it's about though. So my battery died, so if that isn't something. So we're gonna continue. The next book I have here is Isn't It Romantic by Lisa K. Adams. This is the fourth and final book in the Bromance Book Club series. I have only read the first one and I enjoyed it a lot, so I need to finish the remainder 3 books, including this in the count. But yeah, this is the 4th book and I can't wait to get to it. Then the next book I have is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and I've already read this book, and if you're interested in my thoughts, you can check out my mid-month wrap-up for August. But I absolutely gave this a 5-star because it was such a fun read, and Tessa Bailey is like one of those auto-buy authors for me now, so yeah. Really enjoyed this. I read this before the hype, so my take on this book is before it became very popular, so take that with a grain of salt. But I love Tessa Bailey, so I'm biased. Then another book I picked up because of how popular it is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz. I had to buy this on Amazon because it's not available through my bookstore, so I'm guessing this is indie published. I think is it Enemies to Lovers? I wouldn't call this Enemies to Lovers, but the main heroine, she is invited to her sister's wedding in Spain, I believe, and she doesn't have a date. Her sister's getting married to her ex's brother, and she doesn't want to attend the wedding by herself. So her colleague, I can't remember his name, Jacob maybe, something along the lines, he offers to go with her, and I've heard that he's absolutely in love with her, but she's very hesitant. So yeah, I can't wait to read this. It's pretty chunky too. This is like at least 470 something pages. So can't wait to get to this eventually. Right now, I'm not in the mood for any adult romances. That is not fantasy. So don't know when this will get read, but I do want to read it. Now this next set of books are a weird bunch. They're not really weird, but they're not in the romance genre. So the first one is Dial A For Aunties, and this is by Jessie Q Santano or Santano. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. This is like a mystery. It says, what happens when you mix one accidental murder with 2,000 wedding guests and then toss in a possible curse on 3 generations of an immigrant Chinese Indonesian family? We get 4 meddling Asian aunties coming to the rescue. So this is like it's gonna be, it's like a mixed genre, it seems to me, and it seems like it's gonna be hilarious and fun and wild, and I want to read it, just not right now, but I will get to this eventually. Now, one book I didn't expect that I would ever buy, but I got the audiobook and I wanted to read along with it, so I hope I actually like this. But it's Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, and this is a literary piece. I don't typically like reading any literary fiction books. They're not really my speed per se. I'll make an exception and read 1 or 2 here or there, but a lot of people seem to love Frederick Bachman's book. I think he is the author of A Man Called Ove and another series called Beartown. Have never read any of his works, but I decided this one sounded interesting and I kind of wanted to read it. And it's about a bank robber who actually, I don't even think he actually robbed the bank in his first attempt of robbery, but he ends up in a I don't want to say locked, but he ends up holding hostage a few people who do not appear as they seem, and I think it's going to be an interesting tale. I don't know if I just gave the description of this justice, but the title seemed interesting. I have the audiobook and I actually plan to read this very much sometime soon. But yeah, I hope I like this. Oh, I actually did have some more romance. So I have like the last 3 romance books here, and then I have 2 manga. So the first new adult I have is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. Now, funnily enough, guys, I want to mention that all of the books I've read in my teen years were new adults, so they were very much similar to this. I'm actually surprised I have never read this, given I read a lot of adult romances back then, like the early 2000s. Well, not early 2000s, like 2010s. But yeah, I'm surprised I haven't read this. This is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. This is Briar Youth. This is the first in the Briar Youth series, and I also have The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and this is the Off-Campus series. I do have the second book in the Off-Campus series, which is The Mistake. I hope I like these because I don't know, I like new adult, but I feel like I'm kind of over like college-based books, or I don't know. We'll see. I just hope I like it. If not, I will not be purchasing any more of the copies for further reading, but I just wanted to give it a chance because I do have a lot of new adult books that I used to read so long ago on my bookshelves. I brought them to Canada with me, and so I'm just hoping I do enjoy, if not both of these series, at least one of them. So yeah. And then these last 2 books I actually didn't purchase, like a friend gifted this to me, so thank you, Bunga. The first is a manga called Orange, and I have never read it. It says this is a complete collection, and I can't wait to read this. I don't know when yet exactly when I'll read this. I think also it was like a readathon perhaps, or when I'm in a super depressed reading slump, because I've been in that for like the last, I don't even want to say the last few weeks, maybe a month or 2 now at this point. But since kind of like June, July, I've been in a reading slump, and it's almost the end of August, so that says a lot. And then she also got me Skip Beat volumes 1 to 3 and Story and Art by Yoshiki Nakamura. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this seems so cute, so I can't wait to get to this as well. But these were 2 mangas that were gifted by my friend Bunga. Thank you, Bunga. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think that is all the books that I have here. I don't think I missed any. I hope I don't. I'm actually now on not a book buying ban because that doesn't work for me, but I am now kind of putting myself on a book buying break just because I have a lot of things that's coming up, like social wise, that I'm gonna have to spend money on. So that means I can't be spending money on books. I do have a few other books that I have ordered, just not getting them until like the end of the month or in September. So those books I will feature in like vlogs and stuff as I get them and they come in. But yeah, for now, this will be my only book haul until Black Friday, which you guys will likely come along with me for that shopping experience. But yeah, anyways, if you are interested in any of these books, let me know below if you read any of them. I want to hear about it. What are your thoughts? Keep them non-spoilery, of course. As I mentioned, all of these books will be linked in my description box, and what can't hold there, I'll pin in the comments for you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Au revoir.